We are live. We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are live. And tonight, we're going to get in the discussion of how do we support, how do we encourage, how do we push one another as small content creators on YouTube, how to keep going and to grow our channel. And so tonight, if that's you and you need a little encouragement, you need a little accountability and just being there for one another as a content creator on YouTube who has a small channel, but yet you have big dreams and yet you're in the grind tonight. This episode is for you, and we're starting right now. Praise the Lord, everyone. Welcome to The Huddle. I'm your host, Walter Strong, where it's our goal to help working class content creators like yourself to grow your channel, get more views, and make money online. And as I said tonight is a special night. This is a night where we're just talking to small content creators. When I say small, not that you're small, but according to YouTube, you have a small YouTube channel that has not monetized yet. You haven't reached 1,000 subscribers. You haven't reached that 4,000 hours of watch time. You're new to YouTube and you're growing and you're going through the process of trying to find what you want to do with your channel, and you just need some encouragement because you're out here on these content streets by yourself and you just need to know, hey, are there other like-minded content creators who want to come alongside and encourage not only yourself but encourage one another? So if that's you tonight, let me know in the chat where you're watching me from. Give me a hashtag team live in the chat, and if you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag team replay in the comment section. Let me know in the comment section if you are a small YouTube channel and you haven't reached 1,000 subscribers yet and 4,000 hours of watch time. Let me know where you're at in terms of your sub count and in your watch hours, and let me know where you're at in the journey, and so we can just encourage one another. And so we're going to just get into some tips, and just to there may be some tips that you've heard before, but hey, they bear worth repeating again because we need to be reminded of just good, solid truth and information that sometimes we may allow to kind of slip and get out of sight of mind, and what we need to be doing as content creators when we're growing our YouTube channel. And so my first tip tonight that I want to share with you, you may have heard it once or twice before, but it bears repeating that we need to be reminded of. And that simply is, make sure you have clarity about what your YouTube channel is about. Have clarity about what your YouTube channel is about. Why did you start this YouTube channel? What was the goal and what you had in mind for your YouTube channel? What's the value proposition that you've put together that when viewers come to watch your content for the first time or for the 100th time in seeing your videos published on YouTube, whether shorts or long form content or even live streams, what's the value proposition that you're promising the viewer that they can expect when they click on your video? Now, if that's not clear to you on what your YouTube channel is about, it's not going to be clear to the viewer and the audience who sees your content. You have to have clarity, a clear picture of what your YouTube channel is about and the content you're about, that you're sharing. Not only clarity about your YouTube channel, but clarity about the audience, who the content is for. Because as much as we would like to create content about just about any and everything that we feel that makes us feel good and just what appears to be a good topic to have a discussion about on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, guess what? When it comes to Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday, we're going to be thinking the same thing about something else. And so we can't be just, be instantaneously making content about, 4 to 5 different topics just because what feels good to us at the moment. When we start to kind of mix content like that, what will happen is you may have a certain piece of content that you end up posting. Let's say it's on, helping individuals how to, get better organized and more productive in their life and in their professional life. And you may have viewers that really start to resonate because you have the background, you have the experience at it, you're very gifted and talented at it, and you can share a lot of things that you have done in the past that have made you successful in being more better organized and being more productive. And you may start to get traffic as a result of that content. You may, as a result, started to get views and even start to get subscribers clicking to the content. But here's the challenge, and here's the problem I feel that we can create for ourselves as small content creators. Even large content creators can create for themselves is now you were creating content on better organization and being more productive, and now you want to go into the arena of financing. You want to go into the arena of how to better save for a rainy day, and why the importance of why you want to have emergency savings, and you want to get into investing in and mutual funds and various things like that. Well, now you get viewers that are interested in that, and they start to click on that type of content. And guess what? As YouTube and the algorithm starts to show more of your content that you're creating, from productivity to finances to savings and investments, all different types of niche categories and audiences that you can speak to, the audience that originally was watching your content on better organization and being more productive, they want to see more content on that speaks to their language and to their pain point and to the things that are important to them. The audience that you've created that deals with finances and savings and better money management, they don't want to watch content on organization and productivity. Yeah, there may be some type of overlap to a point, but they want to see more of the content that they are looking for. And YouTube, the one of the main primary functions and goals of YouTube is they want to keep viewers on the platform, in particular your channel platform. And so if you're busy making content about various different types of topics and you have no clarity, you put yourself in a position where you are not going to be able to grow your channel effectively. And so this is an opportunity as we transition from this 8th month into this 9th month, as we're getting, as the year 2026 is starting now to enter into its final quarter. This is a good opportunity now as we go into this new this new season. We've kind of coming out of the summer season now into the fall season. This is a good opportunity for you to be able to say, is there clarity about what I'm creating and who am I creating it for? Do I have the clarity on how I'm going to create this content, the format I want to create the content in? Are you going to be a shorts channel, or are you going to be a channel that's going to focus more on long form content? Are you going to do a blend of mixture of long and short? Or are you going to dedicate yourself to one specific format? Clarity. Where there is no clarity in where you're going with your YouTube channel, you stunt and hinder the growth that you are expecting and hoping for on your YouTube channel. I was listening to a YouTube video earlier today by a gentleman named Derek Floyd on the Beautiful Now project. And he was sharing the secrets in one of his videos called The Secrets of Moving Forward. And he talked about clarity in this perspective. Clarity is like if you are unclear about something and you put into the GPS of your vehicle on a destination of where you want to go, and you are not clear on where you're trying to get to and the destination you're going to go to, the information you put into that GPS, whether if it's into the vehicle or into your phone that you attach to the GPS of your vehicle, guess what? You're not going to get to your destination because you're not clear in where you're going. Your instructions and where you're trying to go is not clear. And so as a result, it's going to take you much longer and cause you to go into different directions you don't need to go. And guess what? The GPS is gonna say rerouting, 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 rerouting. Why? Because there was never clear directions where you want to go. Even if you have clear directions and you have clarity in where you're trying to go, even if there's obstacles and detours and there's changes in along the journey, even when the GPS reroutes you, it always tells you that it's being done in mind to get you on the best paths and getting you there at a certain time frame. Clarity. Do you have clarity about the content that you're making? Now, want to make a side note here. If you're just doing YouTube as a hobby, if you're just doing YouTube as just something that's for fun, just to post videos to say, hey, I just did another short and I just wanted to, post some stuff just to post, or even if you're doing it from a historical aspect of just journaling about things in your life and in your family's life and just things that you want to be chronological about, and there's no real aspirations of trying to monetize, and there's no real aspirations of reaching certain YouTube milestone goals and milestones and things like that, then the clarity aspect of it doesn't really become of a real of importance. But if it is of importance for you to do something relevant with your YouTube channel, and there is an audience you want to share this content with because of the particular skills and talents and abilities that you have, and because of the passion that you have, and the proficiency that you have, and the potential for the profit you can make from it, you got to have clarity. That is the only way you are going to grow your YouTube channel. And so I think this is a great opportunity as small YouTube content creators, not in the sense that you're small as in terms of what you have, because you have a lot of potential and great things that if it's put together right and it's done right, it can turn into real big things for you. But you got to have clarity. And so look at your current YouTube channel that you had now for 3 to 6 months to a year. Well, look at that channel that you just started, and you're kind of using, Chat GPT to help you to make your YouTube banner. You're kind of using AI, Gemini or whatever your or Claude, whatever that you feel comfortable with, and you kind of making your thumbnails and you're putting things together. Is it being used in such a way that provides clarity to you about what your YouTube channel is about? Hey, let me know in the chat where you're watching me from tonight. Give me a hashtag Team Live in the chat. Let me know in the chat or the replay. Do you have clarity about what you're creating your content for? Which brings me to tip number 2, packaging. Packaging. What type of packaging is your YouTube channel being presented with? When viewers come to your channel, the packaging, how is it your YouTube being presented? There was an episode with the Cosby, of many Cosby episodes on the Cosby Show that I remember. But this one particular one I remember is when I think it because uh, he had a couple of, I think, 4 girls. So I think it wasn't Rudy. What was the other young girl? She would have been next to Rudy. And so she decides to make some decisions about wanting to date an older man, and to the point and her name will probably come up to me. But if you watch the Cosby Show and you know the young lady that was right before Rudy and right before Lisa Bonet, I can't think of the names, but put in the chat for me if you know who I'm talking about. In this episode, she brings this much older man home, and he shares his plans and his thoughts about how they're gonna be together and potentially get married. And he's serious. Now, this guy's old enough to have dated, 2 to 3 times more than this young lady. He's kind of close to what Cliff's Bill Cosby age was. And the way that they sprung this on Cliff and Claire, I'll never forget the illustration that he shares with the man. He says, "Do you have your favorite food?" He says, "Yeah, I like some steak." He says, "Okay, we're gonna put some steak on it. We're gonna put some mashed potatoes. We're gonna put some broccoli on it. We're gonna put." He says, "We're gonna do this and this. We're gonna serve it up." He says, "We're gonna take this plate of nice, fine smelling food, smells good. We're gonna put it on a garbage can lid, and now we're going to present it and serve it." And he said, it don't look all that attractive. It don't smell all that good. It don't. Why? Because of the image of the garbage can. Unfortunately, as YouTubers and content creators, sometimes we do our YouTube channel the same way. We present it in such a way on a garbage can lid, and we wonder why someone comes to view and watch our YouTube channel. And as a result, there is no YouTube banner on the YouTube page to kind of tell you what your channel is about. There's no YouTube banner to kind of share what your core pillars are about your YouTube channel. Now, you know the content pillars that are important to you as a content creator, but your audience doesn't know. There's no type of understanding of how often you will be posting content, whether once a week, twice a week. You'll go live once a week, twice a week. There's no information there from a YouTube banner to kind of share about what your YouTube channel is about. They see the channel name, whether that channel name is a personal name or a branded name. They see the name, but guess what? There's no channel banner there. On top of that, there is, in most cases, and sometimes, there is no profile picture. And I think of a profile picture as a first introduction of kind of letting me know who you are. It's like, back in the day when I was a young person growing up, back in the day in my times, now I'm sounding like I'm much older than what I really am. And unfortunately, growing up in the time of hip hop and music and R&B, a lot of individuals didn't know how to address people by their first name. You knew how people address themselves. "What's up, B? What's up, G? What's up, C? That's you're my dog, man. You what's up, D? What's up?" That's what a lot of profile pictures are on YouTube. There's no picture there. There is the letter E, there's the letter F, there's the letter T, there's the letter C. No one knows who you are. Presentation. And if the presentation is poor, we then wonder why the channel is not getting any views, why YouTube is not showing our content to anyone. We're getting it and I applaud you. Yeah, you don't have the latest Canon M50 and the Sony camera, but you're willing to get in on your iPhone 17 Pro and go vertical and make this video and share this content. And you want to be rare, to be raw and share how to motivate someone, but you don't have no profile picture. I don't know who you are. The viewers don't know who you are. Packaging and how it's being presented is so important. How about you? When a person comes to your channel, is there packaging there? Like my good friend 24-hour boss in the chat this morning? I mean this morning. This evening? And I come to his channel, I see his profile picture. How do I know he has a profile picture? Because it's showing up in my live chat. I see his banner. Packaging all plays a part in you being able to get someone to want to watch your content. They have an idea of who you are. If I go back a little further, and mom and dad would tell me as a young boy when I go to school and have to walk to school, because back then there was no school buses to be catching to be going to school. You had to walk on your own 2 feet. Had to hashtag walk to school for me. Those of you watching me live, if you had to walk to school, hashtag walk to school. And one of the main things I would hear from my mother and hear from teachers and faculties of schools, if someone approaches you and they are not your mom or dad in a car and they open their door, don't you get in their car. Don't you talk to strangers. We're wondering why we can't get new viewers to come to our YouTube channel. And it's simple. They don't want to talk to no stranger. Can I be real with you tonight? I know this microphone is on. It's on. I know it's connected. I know you're hearing what I'm saying. They don't want to talk to strangers because there's no profile picture. They don't want to talk to strangers because there's no banner. They don't want to talk to strangers because when they click into your description, all they see is welcome to my channel. Here's why I create content, and here's why I need you to subscribe. There's nothing of value that says to them what's in it for them. These are just some small, important YouTube growth tips for small YouTubers that you ain't hit the 1,000 subscribers yet. You ain't hit the 4,000 hours of watch time. Now, if you rocking and you got your 1,000, you got your 2,500, you may still consider yourself a small channel, but tonight, this is our night. We to encourage one another. And so packaging in terms of how your content is presented. You've created 40, you listen to some of the YouTube gurus and they say just create your first 100 videos. Even if they're not your best, create your first 50 videos, even if the first 15 are just, you go, oh gosh, why did I create that? But you have the courage to keep it up there. Did you ever think to take the time to make a playlist, to kind of put it into a series, start using best practices and how to organize your content? Because as you stay with this, as there's longevity in this, if this is something you see yourself doing for the next 3 to 5 years, you want to start developing a playlist. And YouTube will help you with this. Your most recent videos, your most popular videos. If you create shorts, they'll create some shorts tab for you. They'll do a for you section. Start organizing and presenting the content in such a way where it will appeal to someone to want to watch the content. All of this plays a part in you being able to grow on YouTube. Hey, if you're getting great value out of this discussion tonight on small channel growth tips, that's what I want to call this tonight. Do me a favor, click that like button for me. Hit that thumbs up. Don't as they say, smash the like button, punch the like button, kick the like. I don't want you to destroy your device. Don't destroy the iPhone. Don't break the window of the laptop for me. Just tap the like button for me. Share this on your favorite social media platform as we continue on with tip number 3. We talked about packaging. I kind of segued into presentation where we talked about the importance of playlists and organizing your channel and presenting it, where as you start creating more content, it's presented in such a way where people will want to start seeing, not just watching one video, but they want to start watching a series of your videos. Instead of just putting a link in the comment section that leads to one video, and you've kind of put together a series, a playlist of multiple videos that a person can continue to keep watching. Maybe you put a playlist link in the comment section. Instead of the end screens or the cards, maybe you put a series playlist link in the end screen or the cards. YouTube best practices that if the person ends up being satisfied in watching the first video and sticking to the end, instead of causing them to drop off at that video, hey, let them know about the end screen or the card of the next set of videos that they can watch through the playlist and clicking on and staying and watching more of your content. That boosts your AVD, your average view duration, that boosts your watch history, um, presentation. All of these things in terms of how it's packaged, how it's presented, is going to put you in the position where you can start growing your channel. And so you want to take heed to these best practices. And so tip number 4, you've probably heard it once or twice or what, sometimes our opening hook. Sometimes our opening hook can be a hit, sometimes it can be a miss. I believe through repetition and practice, as you get more familiar what your content is about and who the content in your audience is for, I believe you begin to develop the skill in making a better opening hook for your video over time. I was watching some content on public speaking, and one of the things that the person had said, that when you start and open a presentation, to be able to learn the importance of learning to connect with your audience. In that brief to 10 to 15 minutes, 15 seconds, I apologize, even if you do make a video that's about 10 to 15 minutes, but in that brief 10 to 15 seconds, that's the opportunity for you to be able to connect with the viewer. That's your opportunity to connect with your audience through your opening hook. And in that opening hook, you could simply say, hey, are you struggling as a content creator because you are working a 9 to 5 job and you feel like you just don't have the adequate amount of time to sit and make new content to post on your channel because you're working a job and you just feel like you're struggling to be consistent? Well, in this video, I want to share 5 tips with you on how you can become more consistent in publishing content that will help you to ultimately get more views. And we're starting right now. Now, yes, that's kind of wordy right there. We can work with that. We can massage that. We can bring it to where it needs to be. But there's an opening hook there that I have that I believe, in terms of how the video is crafted and what the topic is about and what the title and the thumbnail is about, that will get the individual to not only click on the video, but stay for the first 10 to 15 seconds of the video to want to watch more of the content. As you do this with your YouTube channel, as you do this in working on your opening hook, whether if it's asking a question or if it's sharing, a proven strategy, craft your opening hook in such a way that's going to connect with your audience. That's going to connect with your community. And so the next tip that I want to bring to your attention is be mindful of your viewers' journey. When viewers or let's say you get on YouTube. You get on YouTube with, I believe, with the intention, because there is a journey that you want to go on that ultimately takes you to a destination that addresses either a particular pain point in your life, or answer a specific question, or brings you some form of entertainment, and you're willing to go on that journey. Now you may have the hopes and the expectation that you could find the answers to what you're looking for in one video, but in most cases, in some cases, it can take you almost anywhere from 2 to 3 videos to ultimately getting your end result. As content creators yourself, you want your viewers to, that viewer's journey to be on your platform, not just to be 1 or 2 videos on your platform and then they bounce to go to somewhere else. You want them to stay on your platform. So it's important to understand the viewer's journey. When you understand your viewer's journey, the way you create content, the way you present the content will be done with the viewers in mind. Because at the end of the day, in terms of trying to beat the algorithm or crack the code for the algorithm basically is basically, I said basically twice, and make sure I don't do it 3 times. It's it's utilizing our viewer habits and our behavior, our watch time patterns of how we watch videos. Around maybe 9 p.m. to close to 10 p.m. at night, there is one particular YouTube channel that I know will always be in my top 3 videos if I pop onto YouTube between 9 and 10 p.m. And that's a YouTube channel called Comics Explained. It's an audio um, YouTube channel that talks about Marvel and DC. And so sometimes I like putting him on and listening to some of the classic um, Marvel comics or DC comics. Lately, I've been kind of listening to Civil War. If you remember Marvel's Civil War, Captain America 3, where I listened to the audio version of that, and they're true to form like any audio book. There's going to be so much, or book, there's going to be so much more content there than what the movie presents to me and you on the big screen. And so, faithfully, the algorithm will say between 9 and 10, make sure that there's some content from Comics Explained there. Make sure that and it just doesn't pull any type of his content that he's made in the past, but through my watch history, the algorithm says he's been watching more of this type of content from Marvel that we need to show him. In particular, the much older videos, because he remade and remastered and did some newer updated content on Marvel Civil War audio comic book, but the much older versions of it, that's what I've been listening to. And the algorithm says between 9 and 10, make sure that's there. Now, if that's happening to me, I'm quite sure it's happening to you. Whether if it's from 9 to 10, whether it's from 10 to 11 in the morning time or 2 to 3 in the afternoon, pay attention to what YouTube is serving you on your homepage. Look at what the algorithm is saying. It's the viewer's pattern and watch time behavior is what you're feeding the algorithm. And so people say, "Oh, the algorithm has changed. The YouTube has changed this rule." It's all responding to us as viewers. As content creators, we have to connect to that, especially when we're growing a small YouTube channel. I know you want to create content about what you're passionate about and what's important to you, and I believe that's important. But if there is a specific goal in mind, which takes us back into terms of clarity and what you're trying to do with this YouTube channel, you got to understand viewer behavior and watch time history of your audience. You got to understand these things. You got to understand these things. So understand the viewer's journey. And then consistency. Now, when I talk about consistency, I'm not talking about in terms of the frequency of how often you post content. Once a week, twice a week, um, the consistency of your upload. I'm talking about consistency and your brand message. The messaging of your content. Is it consistent from video to video that is respecting and honoring the viewer's journey? If you're not consistent in the brand and in the message that you're communicating on your channel, you are not honoring the viewer's journey. And what will happen is once a viewer begins to understand you're not honoring and respecting and meeting the need of their viewer journey, they're going to bounce and go to somewhere else. They're going to look into the recommendation tab and say, let me come over here. Have you been paying attention? It's interesting with the recommendation tab. YouTube will show me and you as viewers, the most recent videos that are on our home tab, or a video we were watching before and we stopped, or a video that they feel that is relatable to what we're watching. But then they'll create a tab or a section of that there's more content there from same channel that we're watching. And so when viewers come to your channel, they see the same format. The important thing is the brand and the message consistent in the recommendation tab? Because if it's not consistent, or if it's outdated and you haven't created content in the last 3 to 5 years and you've just been creating for the last 3 months, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a challenge for you. Hey, if you're getting great value out of this, do me a favor, give me a hashtag Team Live in the chat. To my replay crew, those of you who have been watching me up to this point, give me a hashtag Team Replay in the comments section. If you are new to the huddle and you want to continue as a working class content creator to grow your channel, get more views, make money online, subscribe to the channel and be a part of the conversation of the working class content creators that are looking to grow their channel. And so we talked about consistency, brand and message. Finally, be willing to experiment. Be willing to experiment. Be willing. Don't get so caught up in one form or format that you fall in love with, that you kind of close yourself out to so many other ideas, whether if that's, making thumbnails a certain way, a certain brand, a certain look, a certain font, because you see more established YouTubers using this. I've made that same mistake. But what I failed to realize, what I'm realizing and understanding now, they ain't always was using that same brand and font and format and color for their thumbnails. They were experimenting and doing certain things with other thumbnails. And eventually it clicked and popped, and as a result their channel took off and it exploded. And so now they are comfortable in using a certain brand and format, font and color in their thumbnails, certain way that their pictures are, because they've kind of crossed and met that threshold of subscriber count and watch time, viewer watch hours. They've reached certain goals now where they're monetized, and they're not just depending on YouTube AdSense, but they have 10 to 15 different ways that they're monetized, and so that they can coast. But me and you may not be there yet. And so be willing to experiment when it comes to your video packaging, your thumbnails. Be willing to experiment, to learn how to make better YouTube descriptions. If you're one of those individuals who still just not feeling AI and using AI as a part of your content workflow and your content creation process, and you're not with it yet, I would say to you, be willing to experiment and try to learn how to leverage AI to buy back more of your time and your money. Because what will happen is, if you're not willing to experiment with things like Chat GPT and Claude and Gemini, you're going to get left behind. Um, for a long time, I made my thumbnails a certain way. I made my fonts and my colors a certain way because of brand message. I wanted to be identified, my brand message and my channel to be a certain way. It took me a while to kind of come along with, now the way I make thumbnails now, utilizing Chat GPT image generator. Um, I've seen some results in terms of people clicking more on my videos, that my impressions and my click-through rate is now starting to improve, where people are clicking more on my videos. They're watching more of my videos longer. I had to be willing to experiment. Hey, I'm not telling you to do the paid version, but you may want to look at the free version just to experiment to see what's out there. You may not have the time and the energy to sit down and to do a full photo shoot of different video poses. Maybe you can just do one or two, and then you use Mana Banana to, come up with some different color looks of your photos. Be willing to experiment. Be willing to experiment, and to, you feel like you're alone, you're out here by yourself, and you just don't feel like you have a community of people to ride along with. Be willing to try to collaborate with other content creators who have similar niche or the same niche audience that you have. Begin to develop an online relationship with individuals. Experiment. The only way you're going to know what works is you got to be willing to try. You got to be willing to test things out. You got to be willing to fail. You got to be willing to fall and come up short and get up and try again. Be willing to experiment. That's the only way you're going to find out what works and what does not work, what grows and what does not grow. The beauty, I believe, of creating, having a passion to create, a passion to create, is the ability to express something that you feel that God has put on the inside of you, that I feel that will add value to someone else and that will improve the quality of someone else. But at the same time, in creating, part of the content creation process, or part of the creation process, is being willing to experiment and do new things that ultimately will lead you to the fulfillment of reaching the audience's desired end or viewer's journey. So you got to be willing to experiment. You got to be willing to experiment. And maybe you've made videos and uploaded videos and did shorts, but you've never thought about doing live streams because you feel like that it's going to be live, and your people are not going to watch, and you'll just be talking to a camera with no one watching. But that's okay. What I've come to understand, that there are some seasons in this live streaming process where, whether through collaboration or bringing a guest or just through the content that I'm putting together, that there is going to be a response of people that will come on, and it will connect with the audience and resonate, and people will stay around and watch. And there are times where others will just come, they're just like in New York City, they're just passing by, just moving from one place to the next. And 1 minute there's 3 viewers watching, the next minute there's 1 viewer watching. The next minute there's 7 viewers watching. The next minute there's 20 viewers watching. The next minute there's no one watching. But that's okay. Why? Because I'm willing to experiment. I've been going back and forth with dual live streaming. My preference is to just do horizontal live streaming. In particular, when I bring guests on, I don't do dual live streaming with guests. I don't like some of the results that I've seen. I have data I can look at that tells me when I have guests on, just doing horizontal videos by itself works best. When I'm by myself, then I'll do dual live streaming. That's when I'll experiment. I'll try different things. There are times what I'll do and I'll put up a slide presentation. But then there are other times where I won't do a live slide presentation. Why? Because I'm willing to experiment. That is the only way you're going to be able to experience growth on your channel, by you being willing to experiment, to develop this new skills that you need to develop. To be willing to fall down and to get back up. To fall down and to get back up. Be willing to give yourself some grace. We're in overtime now. I've reached my 7 tips, but if I was going to give you a bonus tip, be willing to give yourself some grace. Give yourself some grace. You're going to make mistakes. Yes, there's this aspiration and desire to want to make that viral video that takes off, that everybody wants to watch, and that the content that you want the right audience to find, and they can just consistently keep coming back. It's trial and error, but give yourself some grace through the trial and the error. There are some people in the past that have been around for a season, and there are others who have now moved on to bigger and better things. And I had to be okay with that. I would make an appeal to reach out to content creators that I had connections with. And they were like, thanks, but no thanks. But I'm okay with that. You got to be okay with that. And then there are others that say, hey, when you want to get together, when you want to rock, when you want to put something together. I'm also learning, when talking about going back to experiment, especially now in this season where we started this series with working class content creators. I'm learning, not that I've come to the understanding, but I'm learning that not everyone knows how to be a guest on another person's show. And it's possible because no one has never invited them to be a guest on someone's show. And that can be intimidating. And I recently had someone that I was looking at bringing on, and they through a process of time of us going back and forth, I began to come to the conclusion. Let me do something right quick. Okay, there we go. Came to a process of time where I began to understand this friction that I was experiencing with them going back and forth in the emails. It was a result is I came to the conclusion that they were not comfortable in doing interviews. As much as I tried to put things together for them in a very simplistic way, the thought of them being on camera live, doing a live interview, was not something that they were comfortable with. And it was like they were looking for an out on why they could get out of the obligation. And finally, I just had to tell them, hey, look, no problem. Right now, I'm going to have to move on to something else. When something comes around, I'll circle back with you. Did it nice and respectfully. But through the process of learning to reach out and to collaborate with others, it's taught me some things about not everyone is comfortable. So be willing to experiment. Hey, if you've gotten great value out of this episode of The Huddle, those of you watching me live, give me a hashtag Team Live in the chat. Let me know where you're watching me from. Give me a hashtag Team Live in the chat. If you have a comment that you want to make, put a C in front of the comment so I can check it out. If you have a question, put a Q in front of the question. We're going to be live just for another 10 minutes, and then we're going to wrap up this edition of The Huddle. Wanted to just come on tonight and just share some small channel growth tips. These are tips that are not just exclusively for small channels, but even even the channel that has 20,000, 50,000, at one point had 430 subscribers. We all start with zero, but they were willing to apply these tips and be consistent with these tips that we've talked about. So, hey, let me know, what's your comment tonight? Put a C in front of the comment. What's your question tonight about YouTube and growing on YouTube? What's your thoughts tonight with the changes, with the new YouTube partnership program, where now, starting February 1st, 2027, not only do you have to have 1,000 subscribers, but you got to have 8,000 hours of watch time. What's your strategy to be able to reach that 8,000 hours of watch time? Share with me, and let's have a conversation. And the recent announcements of how YouTube now, um, communicates and shares with us what real views are compared to the views that we see on the homepage. There's the engaged views. Are you familiar with engaged views and where you can find them? Let's have a conversation for the next 10 minutes that we're live here, and just educate one another and encourage one another and hold one another accountable so that we can grow as YouTubers. If you're looking for a YouTube channel where you can come here and we can sub for sub and hub for hug, you watch my video, I watch your video, and then I subscribe to your channel. You don't, and you subscribe, I subscribe to yours, and after that, you're gone. This ain't the platform for you. This ain't the channel for you. Um, Working class content creators, where we want to help each other grow, get more views, and make money online. This is the platform for you. This is what I call the lunchroom table. This is the right lunchroom table for you. And so, yeah, just wanted to come on live tonight on a Monday and share some content. Let me just go back to the comments section, see if I see anything. Okay, so 24-hour boss was on earlier. Appreciate him popping on. Is there anyone else? Nope, don't see anyone else other than 24-hour boss. Well, I don't see any comments. I don't see any questions. I wanted to stay on for about an hour, but we're not going to prolong this any longer. So tonight was just the night of just sharing some tips, sharing some content that will encourage you. Oh, tonight I just feel like I'm just my mic. I need to look at my mic and make sure my mic is turned up right. The audio's good, so I'll go back and watch the replay. One of my process in terms of after the live is over, especially on a Monday night or a Friday night, I'll use the next day or afternoon to make sure I put in my YouTube chapters, so that way my replay value for my replay crew is at a level that makes it a more enjoyable experience for the replay viewers. Make sure I put the end screens, the in comments, in screen comments, making sure that I have my info cards. Excuse me. And so just making sure that it's the replay value of my live streams are of quality, that are going, so that the viewers who are watching it for the first time, who may have not seen it live, making sure that if I have to change the thumbnail, if there's live in the thumbnail, make sure I change it unless it's specifically speaking about live, like live streaming. Maybe I'll leave it on. But if I have live, I try not to put live in my thumbnails. I try to put thumbnails together that are where people who watch the replay, they can find it relevant. And so that's another just bonus tip in terms of growing on YouTube, making sure you optimize and go back and make any changes or adjustments to your titles, to your thumbnails, to your YouTube descriptions, any other additional links that you have to put in or put on. Make sure that they're put on, especially if you had guests. Make sure that their contact information is there. So again, the replay value can get top replay uh, experience from it. And so that's, you know, again, all part of just learning to grow on YouTube. Well, we're at 55 minutes into this live stream, so we're going to bring this train into the station. I want to thank each and every person that has, just stopped by and kind of hung out for a few minutes. Mr. 24-hour boss, appreciate you just stopping by and saying hello. And with that said, we're encouraged. Um, we're encouraged to know that we're moving in the right direction. We're moving in the right direction. We've seen some nice positive growth on the channel. I was looking at my analytics in the last 30 days and just seeing my subscriber count move in the right direction. I think I got in the last 30 days close to 10 to 15 subscribers. So and knowing that these subscribers have stayed around. I think I only saw one person drop off, um, because sometimes subscribers are bots or inactive accounts that are not really active accounts. I guess they call them ghost subscribers, and that's fine. That's fine. But to see 10 to 15 subscribers in the last 30 days. I think my 90 over 90 days, my subscriber and view count was down. I looked over 365. It said the channel was all positive growth. I just recently started using vidIQ, the paid version of it. This YouTube channel and this live stream is not sponsored by it, but I'm, learning more about, the scoring of my thumbnails and the scoring of my titles and doing more A/B testing for my titles and my thumbnails. So utilizing vidIQ, utilizing more of Chat GPT, image generator, and making my thumbnails and just making better headshots and improving the quality of my photos that I want to use for thumbnails. I got one particular guest that I got to really work on his photo because the quality of it, um it needs some work. Let me put it that way. It needs some work. But again, this is all part of the process. This is all part of the journey of being on YouTube. And so I try not to watch the analytics day by day just to see second by second in terms of you see the view count, the watch hours, and the subscribers, all arrows going up. Try not to get too over enamored because it's a dopamine hit. I realize it. It's a dopamine hit. But there's also those seasons where the arrows will go in the other direction and you're like, wow, what is going on here? And it can, you feel like you just need the courage to be able to press record and upload and post a video. You need the courage to go live because you're like, this may be another one of those live stream where there's nobody watching. But I always try to remind myself of individuals like Ender Trading, if you're watching it up to this point, who faithfully is a part of Team Replay, and Tech Troublemaker, who's faithfully a part of Team Replay. So if I only have, Coach Al, who's faithfully a part of Team Replay and leave comments and stuff, I'm appreciative of those individuals. I'm appreciative of those individuals who faithfully ride and ride with this channel and I'm willing to go and to support them and to watch their content and to show up in their live streams and to leave a comment on their content, and share their content with others, even if I'm not their particular target audience. But if I know someone who is their target audience, I try to share their content with someone else who they specifically are speaking to so that they can get the watch hours and in the view time. So all of that is important. So yeah, that's what it's about, helping one another grow on YouTube. And we're gonna leave it right there. So want to thank each and every one another. Hey, didn't think we were gonna make an hour, but we made it. And so we will see you Friday night as we continue our series with the Working Class Content Creators series with my next guest, Mr. Paul Andre DeVario from the SEO Video Show. We're going to be talking about video ranking. Is SEO dead? Is ranking videos still important in today's time of YouTube? Check it out on Friday night, 8 p.m. We're going to get into that discussion. God bless. Oh, Jesus.